Welcome to the Queer Witch Project, your resource for all things queer and witchy. I am Damona Peacock, fabulous, non-binary, neurospicy ordained queerdo with a fascination for all things cycles, symbolism, and patterns.
And I am Moonkittee, your queer femme poly kitchen witch and proud geek. Today's topic is Litha, also known as the Summer Solstice.
Summer.
Summer, it is here. It is officially here. Today
It's
is the longest day. So much excitement. And last year we did not do a Litha episode because it was our first episode and we were talking about pride. So this year we thought it'd be fun to go back and touch on that Wheel of the Year's Sabbath special of Litha.
yay!
So
The
what
longest day of the year.
from this
It's a
point
lot easier
days
to handle than the shortest. I love it when the sun sets super late in the evening. That's my favorite time of day. And I
mhm.
like getting out in the sunset or after once it's cooled off.
Yes, and then the days do start getting shorter, but we won't see them get shorter for a much longer time. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm the same way. And it's funny, again, we were yesterday, I was having a discussion with my partner as we're driving back, and I like it when the sun sets at like 8:39 and it stays light, and they are a brooding musician and they love being a brooding musician and they fully acknowledge that. It's like I want it dark. I'm going, I don't particularly. I get seasonal affective disorder. In the wintertime, I am hungry at 5:30 p.m. I want dinner like now at 5:30 p.m. But by the time
Mm.
summer comes around, it's like 7:30. Oh crap, I should probably make food. There's just something about the different way that my body reacts to the light. And it's not necessarily the heat.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that now as I moved from being in the Sacramento area, which was super hot during the summers, to being more in the Bay Area, where it's a lot cooler. It's not about the heat, but it is absolutely about the light cycle. And
Yeah.
I do better with the longer days, though I do wish it was slightly darker in the mornings, to be able to sleep in a little bit better, especially on the weekends.
Right? When the daylight is so short, it just seems like you can only get so much done. But when the
Hmm.
days are so long, it's like you've got endless time. Magically, I love this time of year. During winter solstice, the Holly King is
Hmm.
defeated by the Oak King, and or the Oak King is reborn,
Hmm.
and he has been thriving through spring and growing and ruling. And it's so funny to me to think that as we enter summer,
Hmm.
as we're enjoying the radiance of the light and the heat of the summer, and this is the day in which the Holly King returns
Hmm.
to reign, and he is going to be cutting the days shorter and shorter and shorter, and we won't feel it right away, but magically we're kind of on a precipice
Hmm.
of, that little shifting energy that's going to be
Hmm.
happening, where the Oak King will be slayed or sacrificed
Hmm.
for the harvest in the fields,
Hmm.
and the Holly King will reign again until winter
Cycles and patterns.
solstice. Exactly. I love the magic of following
Hmm.
the changing of the year.
Hmm.
And of course, to be mentioned, in the southern hemisphere, we've got the opposite. They're
Hmm.
having their winter solstice right now,
Right.
which always makes my brain,
A little fuzzy. Yeah.
yeah. I'd
It's
love
like
to go visit the southern
what
hemisphere one of these days.
exactly. It's like, what do you mean your Beltane is our Halloween? Our Beltane is our Samhain.
Yep.
And vice versa. I never really called it a Litha celebration. That was not in the traditions that I did. To me, it's always been summer solstice. And that's,
Hmm.
again, one of the quirks, I guess you could say, of walking my own solitary path is that those cornerstone or quarterstone milestones, I tended to follow the scientific cycle. So it
Hmm.
was autumn and
Hmm.
spring equinox, and it was winter solstice and summer solstice, little crossing
Yeah.
points. So I've started, though Yule is always one of those things, but even still, Yule I started celebrating more as when I came out
Yeah.
as a pagan. Though I would even in my closeted days, I would still silently honors winter solstice. So it's one of those things that to me, Litha is not a name rolls off my tongue quite as easily.
That's so funny. Another
Or is that
word for this time of year, like with Beltane, they say May Day. This is one is also called Midsummer,
mhm.
which I always thought was funny because it's the first day of summer,
All right,
technically. So
it's
why are you
that's
calling it Midsummer?
yeah,
But
that throws me all the time.
but when I hear Midsummer, I think fairies, of
Hmm.
course, and that's definitely something that comes up this time of year.
It's my
Um,
favorite play by Shakespeare.
oh, A
One of
Midsummer
them.
Night's Dream.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is a pretty good one. So
See,
magically, what are we doing around midsummer?
I think we're assessing where we're at. Like anything else, summertime, we are at the height of power. I think for in a lot of ways we embody the Holly King and the Oak King in that our bodies naturally follow this kind of cycle as well. So we are at the height of our own power. We, especially as queer folk, we are dealing with pride and we are working through pride and celebrating that aspect of it.
Mm.
Go back and listen to our episode last year. We talked about solstice and pride, but it
Pride was a
is
riot.
pride was a riot. Pride is this idea of embracing who you are and not standing for being diminished.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important message that comes through with the summer solstice. You're assessing where you are. What have you
Mm-hmm.
brought in? Who are you? What are you going to do with who you are right now in this moment?
I would also say that this is right around the time where we're starting to see harvests
Mm-hmm.
beginning to come in. My favorite fruits are summer fruits. Like, give
Mm-hmm.
me my stone fruits, my peaches,
Mm-hmm.
my nectarines. I'm like all about the nectarine. Plums,
Yes.
strawberries, not a stone fruit, but certainly a summer fruit. And you're starting to see so much progress if you are gardening,
Mm-hmm.
but it's only the beginning of the
Right.
harvest. So there's still time to assess,
Mm-hmm.
redirect, plant some more summer
Mm-hmm.
and fall
Re-
crops.
exactly. Replant. We early harvested. Now it's time to replant them so you can catch them again at the end of the harvest season.
Even metaphorically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
what plans did you plant early on in this year and how far have you come with them?
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't made the progress you wish to, how are you going to double down on your effort? Because that's
Exactly.
definitely like the vibe of this time of year. Be grateful for what you've got, but keep working at it
Mm-hmm.
because you're not done with the year yet. We can still make progress.
Exactly. Now it's time to refertilize. Refertilize the
Yes.
ground, let it get it all nourished again, let it prep it
Re-inspire
and
your
mhm,
dreams. Yes. Speaking of, tending to your garden,
mhm,
but much like with Beltane,
mhm,
Litha also has the bonfires. That's how we would get rid of the crops that we didn't just turn back into the earth. You've harvested and some of these you've weeded, what are you
mhm.
going to do with the burn piles? We
Right.
bonfire the plants.
Um,
Obviously summer is going to, hail in the energy of fire.
yes. For all of you Leos out there, yes.
Exactly.
I know it's not quite your season yet.
No, because
Not
we gotta
quite
get
there
the
yet.
go do the
You
Cancerian
got to get to
season
the
first.
cancers. You got to get to the cancers first.
Can't forget us will cry. But yes, Leo is the epitome of summer to me.
Mhm.
Like,
And now that you say that again, we know that today with summer solstice with Litha starts the beginning of Cancer season. And I just have this thought that Cancer is again that beginning of that emotion, high emotions. You think of Cancer as high emotion, and then into Leo, which is high energy. So it's
mm-hmm.
really about that
Pretty
height
heat.
of factor
Yeah,
that comes through. And
right.
then Virgo, when you're starting to like, okay, we've had the 2 points of the like 2 peaks of like we've had our high energy, we've had our high emotion. Now let's just try to like calm ourselves back down again into the
It's
fall.
funny.
And that's those are those Virgos transitioning into the fall
Grounding
equinox.
again.
You think summertime, you think campouts, cookouts,
S'mores.
s'mores, all those things. Again, we're getting together
Yeah,
around a bonfire. We're
yeah.
celebrating those summer things
Sharing
and
energy,
sharing energy,
our
sharing
warmth, our
parties,
harvests,
hmm
our abundance.
stargazing out at night at the
Yeah.
lake, and all of those wonderful kinds of things. What are some of the other things that we are doing, not only just summertime, but specifically around the solstice? Because I know we're getting into a lot of summer, but I'm trying to bring us back to Litha. So we've got bonfires. We're celebrating the earth, so fruits and flowers
Mm-hmm.
and
Desserts.
desserts. One of the things that I was funny when I was doing a little bit of research on Litha, because like I said, I do more solstice rather than Litha traditions, was realizing how much there is for desserts like bake a lemon cake or blueberry scones or strawberry shortcake, where you're taking that
Mm.
fruit and that harvest, that first harvest of summer, and that nourishing energy and the brightness and the sweetness that comes from the fruits that are coming out, and sharing them and making it into something else.
I
So
love strawberry shortcake.
me too. Me
Mm.
too, growing up. That was one of the big things is strawberry shortcake. I say we make a strawberry shortcake with the base of a lemon cake behind it. So you use the lemon
Oh.
pound cake and then put a strawberry shortcake on top of the lemon pound cake.
Oh, that would be so refreshing and
Yeah.
bright.
I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow
This
night.
is how we shall be celebrating Letha forevermore.
Exactly.
I
Oh.
love it. This again is definitely the time of year that the
Mm-hmm.
fairies come out to play. And
Yes.
if you ever want to just get out in nature at the twilight,
Mm-hmm.
the veil, feeling the thinning of the veil once again. I know that there's a lot of stories about Danu and the Tuatha De Danann that
Mm-hmm.
turned into, what the, families of
Mm-hmm.
fairies in the, UK lands. Kind of a bit of a time of mischief and fun and
Mm-hmm.
adventure, and the Fae are always in for that kind of
Mm-hmm.
energy and vibe. So, if you do have a practice where you like to honor or connect with the fairies, this is definitely one of their holidays. Go dancing with
Absolutely.
them. Go
Mm-hmm.
dance in the energy of the Fae.
Mm-hmm. And if not, and if the Fae isn't your kind of flavor, gratitude and abundance rituals. Just in general, we are at the peak of abundance. So this is the time to be grateful and to be thankful for what we have received, and
Mm-hmm.
give grace and give thanks for what we have, and to again prep and intend and ask for the abundance to continue through those winter months where it is leaner and sometimes harder to
Mm-hmm.
get the nourishment, either physical or emotional or whatever, that we may need, something that will sustain us through those winter months that are coming.
One of the most beautiful things to do this time of year is to catch the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I can make it out. For me, on
Mm-hmm.
the west coast of the United States, to the ocean and watching the sun setting over the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and just soaking in the beauty of all of that, and the gratitude, and saying a blessing to nature.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel just so empowered. Even up, oh, I love to go up to Lake Tahoe and watch the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So just finding some spot that gives you some kind of a view,
Yes.
and connecting with the cycle of the sun, watching the sunrise, but it's not as pretty as the sunsets to me. But that's just because
Yes.
my twilight time is my favorite time of day.
Right. No, I said there's magic to sunrises too. But no, especially here on the West Coast, sunsets just get phenomenal.
Yeah,
There's just colors, and
especially
you
if
get
there's clouds in the sky.
mhm, you get the deep pinks and oranges into the purples and
Yep.
blues, and it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I the same thing. I love sharing it and watching the sunsets. And I get a lot of sunset photos, even out my backyard, which may not be like the prettiest view, but you look up and it's just like, whoa,
It's the light.
it is the light and the
Yeah.
painted colors just across the sky. And it's so beautiful.
What are
So,
some of the traditions
mhm.
that people usually get into around this time of year?
In the secular world, we're talking about parties. Like you said, you
Barbecues.
mentioned barbecues, birthday parties, gatherings, concerts, festivals. So
Oh
many festivals
yeah.
happen in the spring and the summertime. It's your
So many
excuse.
concerts to be there are so many concerts happening this year.
Yes.
Everybody's coming back out of the woodwork, and I'm not going to hit them all because I can't afford it,
Hmm.
but I have one that I'm looking forward to, and
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
Same.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that are lots of concerts, lots of festivals that happen through the summer. Water activities. For those of
Oh
us,
yeah.
again, summertime, this is your chance to go splash around and play in the water.
I want to ride
Uh,
on a boat. That's my
mm.
favorite thing, going out on the boat. I love them. I love boat rides. I don't care if it's the ocean, the bay, A lake,
Hmm.
a big lake or a little lake. I just like boats.
Nice. I did not know that. It's silly and it's trite, but I really like swimming pools. Going back to child, it's a safe space. I can see the bottom, so I don't feel like some sort
Right.
of creature is going to come up and eat me from below. In the
Depths of the
ocean, I am
unknown.
terrified of riptides, so I don't generally wander in too deep. Being in water and the sun, that sunbathing moment, I know it's not great for your skin. So I use a ton of sunblock because as you can see, I am pale ghost vampire,
Yeah,
and I
same.
burn so easily.
I go from pale to red.
Yes, lobster very quickly.
I,
But even
I
then, just picnics and tea
yes.
parties.
Garden parties.
I love the idea of having a garden party where everyone comes dressed so floofily and like elegantly and wear these beautiful hats
Oh
and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I have this fantasy that I will make happen one day where have this huge tea garden party at some point.
I'm looking
Uh,
forward to attending.
Good.
I hope there's live music.
There, I'm sure there will be. But other than that, we're also making offerings because it's not only about what we do, but how we give back to the deities and to that oak and holly king, to the honor of both of
Mm-hmm.
them as they go into their various cycles, and to the gods and goddesses that oversee our daily lives.
Yeah.
Because again, there are different deities that we all honor and worship in different ways, and having that ability to share and give that summer bounty, offering some of that to them is also incredibly important.
Yeah. We talk about like the honey,
Hmm.
this honey harvesting season, the ambrosia that the gods eat.
Hmm.
And I'm like, if you're gonna go dancing with the fairies, make sure you're leaving them some
Hmm.
offerings. Because
You want to
otherwise you
come
may
back.
lose some stuff. They'll take stuff too if you don't leave offerings. My other thought is with this time of year is graduations are so often
Hmm.
happening, and so people are in a threshold of accomplishment, but also taking the next bigger step.
Hmm.
So that's very in alignment with readjusting and planning out the rest of your harvest season.
Yes, absolutely. So, what are we doing to queer it?
Pride, of
Right.
course.
I know that was a no-brainer, but
Party, bar crawls. I don't know. I'm not really much of a drinker or a bar attender, but I would go to a drag show,
absolutely. And remember, if you're going to Pride celebrations, make sure to hydrate.
or you die straight, and we don't
I know.
even want to live that way.
I think that's a big thing that we don't touch on a lot in the summertime enough is you do because it's warmer, your body needs more water. So make sure you are hydrating and not just putting, in my case, lots of tea. Tea has some hydrating aspects, but it has some dehydrating and diuretic aspects. So make sure you are actually drinking water, in
Yes.
addition to your other flavored beverages that have water as a component.
Stay cool as you
Hmm.
can, but also further than just like celebrations and parties and
Hmm.
pride, parades and events. I'm very passionate about our queer history because so
Yes.
much of it has been suppressed or swept under the rug, or again, we've lost so many elders to a epidemic,
Hmm.
pandemic that people didn't really care much about because it was
Hmm.
not affecting them.
Right.
So this time of year, when everybody's talking about pride, go find some of the elders that are still around and talk to them, ask them
Hmm.
questions, learn from their wisdom, find out obscure, there are so many things that we can look back on now and realize, oh, that author, that artist was totally gay, but
Hmm.
nobody talks about that part of their life. It's very, historically, so many gay people were closeted or
Hmm.
it was just not talked about. So I think it's important that we go back and start like looking into our queer history, preserving our queer
Hmm.
history. I would love to interview some queer elders or
Hmm.
trans elders. If y'all are out there and you want to be interviewed on this, that would be a wonderful way for us to celebrate
Hmm.
the queerness of the summer and high energy and pride.
I think for us and a few others is don't be surprised when you find yourself becoming a queer elder that you didn't realize that you were for the younger generation.
Yeah,
So I think we have something
I've
to learn on
constantly
everything.
strive. Sorry.
Because I think we have to learn and be we always say go to our elders, and then suddenly sometimes realize we have become the elder, even
Point.
though we may not necessarily feel it. But
Yeah.
that is also something to think
Yeah.
about, is not only go to your queer elders, but think about your own history
Yeah.
and think about how far you have come and what you have done and all the growth that you've learned over
Yeah.
the times, because it is something that we are going to be constantly doing, hopefully for the rest of our lives, is learning and learning from each other.
I very much strive to be the person that I needed as a teen
Mm-hmm,
that could have made it safe for me to come out at a
mm-hmm,
younger age, that could have made me feel like getting to my authentic self wasn't such a daunting task
mm-hmm,
or, an unobtainable journey. So I try to be that for others. And yeah, in some ways, I realize that we are the queer elders
mm-hmm.
because, we're torch bearing for the generations that are coming next.
And for
Hopefully making
Jennifer,
the world a little bit better for them because I do truly believe that it gets better for all of us.
it does. And one way that it gets better for all of us is for finding those queer politicians and finding or becoming that queer politician and making your voice heard by voting.
Do your research.
Do your
And
research on candidates and vote for and pay attention to and be loud about issues that are affecting the queer community.
yeah,
And I'm sure you'll hear us, without trying to get too political this year, we are in 2024 at the time of this recording, and we are getting very, very close to another very challenging, very technical, very rights threatening
mhm,
election that we didn't
yeah,
think we would be in, that we were in 4 years ago. We're in the same kind of thing.
yeah,
And this is our chance to make your voice heard, make your vote heard, and really seek out those who are truly willing to see all humans as having rights and responsibilities and not trying to take those away or dictate how people should live or love or anything along those lines.
I agree.
The theme of pride. I mean, like you
Yeah,
said, it started as a riot. There is
yeah.
no greater riot than to shake up the status quo.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as queer people, we can totally do that
I
by
do
making our
love
voice
that there
heard.
are more queer people and
Mm-hmm,
trans people running for office
mm-hmm,
on multiple levels. I also believe that I want to be voting for younger generations
mm-hmm,
because I'm tired of one generation having a chokehold over
mm-hmm.
the lawmaking
Yes,
and the leadership of our country. So, yeah, it's time for some of those deep changes.
absolutely. And you get to make it happen. And so do I.
Yay! Yes, we definitely need to be involved as a community to make the changes that we wish to make. Yeah, to
Absolutely.
see the growth that we want to see in our communities. And like again, just to be that safe place
Mm-hmm.
to make our country that was supposedly founded on the idea of freedoms and rights, human rights, live up to his promise. That's what I want.
Yes.
That's what I want for Pride. That's what I want for Litha.
I love it. Is
Is
there
there
anything
anything
we
else
missed?
no, I think that was pretty much all the things that we were going to cover
Mm-hmm.
around Litha, Summer Solstice, Midsummer, Dancing with the Fairies. Well,
All
with all of
right.
that said, I just want to thank you for listening to the Queer Witch Project. If you enjoyed this topic and want to suggest more or tell us what you think, leave some comments or give us one of those ratings where we get stars or thumbs up or subscriptions. I don't know. Connect with us. We love hearing from you.
Yes. And if there is a topic you would like to know more about or an episode topic you'd like to suggest, please contact us at thequeerwitchproject@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram with the handle at Queer Witch Project. We upload every other week. And remember, queerness is a key to magic.
Be yourself and love rebelliously. Bye.
Bye.